Hi, Carrie and Nita. Like the title of the video says, we think it's going to be a very cold winter. And I want to explain to you why I think it's going to be a cold winter. And Nita's going to give her input on the situation. Isn't she beautiful there? this
Thank
this
you.
this is in fact coats that we acquired when we lived in Minnesota, where it got very, very cold. And it then became very unfashionable to wear fur coats. In fact, you took your coat's life into your hands that somebody wouldn't throw some paint on it at one time. I don't hear much about that. But let's talk about why I think it's going to be a cold winter. And that is, I think that we're going to suffer a stock market crash. And I want to share with you why I think it's going to crash. And I want to get any input that Nita has. Because and why am I sharing this on my retirement channel? Because I think most of us who are in retirement have limited amount of funds, and we live a lifestyle. And I think, as I say, it's going to be a cold winter, and it will take us into 2022 and probably into the spring at least, and maybe into the fall, when your stock market, when your investments are going to lose value. And I mean both stock investments as well as real estate. So if that's the case, what's going to happen? As Nita and I were talking, if our stock portfolio went down substantially, what is the likelihood we would buy a beach house as a second home in Florida? What do you think?
Probably not.
Why not?
Well, because they're extremely expensive where we're looking.
Right.
I mean, they are $1.5 million, but they go up to $5.5 million. And
Very expensive.
Very expensive.
So my take on it is, if my portfolio is down 20, 25, 40%, I'm probably not going to be comfortable taking on some debt or selling some of my portfolio at a loss to buy a piece of property in Florida. Would you agree?
I agree with that.
Okay. So
I don't like it, but I'll agree with it.
She doesn't like it. Okay. So let's take it to another level. Let's say that I'm a millennial and I've got some investments, and there's a stock market crash and my investments have gone down in value. And my wife and I are interested in buying our first house. What's the likelihood that we'll go ahead and do that? What do you think?
Shaky.
Shaky.
I'm not saying we wouldn't, because we've been known to do some interesting things, but probably a little shaky.
Okay. So what will that then do? It will decrease, I would say, it will decrease demand for real estate. So a downturn in the stock market should, or probably will, create a downturn in the real estate market. Now, why do I think all this is going to happen? Well, over on my investment video, our channel, I've been doing a number of videos on what I call, very literally, the China stock market crash. People in China have a different attitude towards investing than we do in the United States. Here in the United States, you quite possibly have owned stocks. In China, you must realize that 10 years ago, 20 years ago, they didn't have a middle class. They had the very wealthy, and then they had the farmers. And as a result of China getting a lot of manufacturing and creating jobs for lower class, their cities have filled up. They've had to build homes for those cities, and a home in most countries other than in the United States is a 400 to 600 square foot box in a tower, what we would call an apartment, but they call them homes. And so there's an influx of people coming into the cities, and there has developed then a lot of residential real estate developers who have built to feed this demand. So the average Chinese citizen sees there is less supply than there is demand. So they buy 2 or 3 of them, hold on to them for a while, and then sell them at an appreciated value. Makes good sense. Until March of 2020, when you have a something out of Wuhan, China, that creates a pandemic across the United States, and people are quarantined and don't work, and therefore the buying of the homes stopped for a year and a half now and continuing. And these developers have become illiquid, insolvent. They can't pay the interest on the debt that they've created to build the homes. So we have another real estate crisis. Roll back your mind to 2008 and what I call the subprime crisis, what the world called the real estate crisis, and we've got a repeat. We've got banks, we've got real estate developers who can't pay their bills. If they can't pay their bills, they go bankrupt. Who takes the end hit on that? The citizen. Now, you also then need to realize that the fastest growing economy in the world is China. So if the people of China don't have money to spend, then they don't buy new cars. General Motors sells 3 million cars in China last year. It ain't going to happen this year. Nike sells most of their shoes in China. It ain't going to happen this year. So my message to you is there's going to be a stock market crash, I believe. What do you believe?
Well, when we were in China, we saw a lot of what we call apartments, brand new cities with lots of brand new apartment buildings. What we didn't realize is when you buy an apartment in China, you just buy a box. And then down the road here is a area where you pick out your toilet and your shower, all your appliances, all your cabinets and everything is not included in the sale of that box. So you're adding more money onto it. That is a kind of...
It's a different culture.
It was a surprise to us.
It's a different culture. And the fact is that if you read the statistics of the homes that now exist in China, 47% of them are sitting vacant. And that is, I'm a Chinaman, Nita and I are Chinese. We buy 3 other houses, boxes in towers, and don't put toilets and kitchen sinks and all in them, and just wait for them to appreciate in value. And now they've stopped. Now these boxes are selling for 50% of what I paid for it. Wait a second. I just lost 50% of my savings. Am I going to buy a new car? A Neo? A Tesla? A General Motors vehicle? Am I going to buy new tennis shoes? No, not running shoes. No. So once you understand this, and once you understand that the world is a big pond, and when you throw a rock into that pond, wherever it lands, it makes a kerplunk, and then it creates ripples. And those ripples keep going and going and going and keep affecting the rest of the world. That's exactly what happened in 2008. And our stock market went down 50% in a 6-month period and then took a year and a half to recover. That's what I think is going to happen. And it probably won't take a year and a half to recover because the monetary systems of the world have changed since 2008. Governments come in and bail people out. Governments come in and take care of their citizenry by sending them checks. I suspect China will do that. I don't know if they will send checks to U.S. investors who have invested in the bonds that are supporting these. I don't suspect that will happen. But we have a catastrophe, an implosion in front of us. And I wanted to share it with you because it's going to be a very cold winter. And you, as a retiree here in the United States, are probably the most susceptible group of people to be harmed by this implosion of the Chinese stock market. So that's why Nita and I are dressed up in our, what would that be, 1970s clothes?
No, I got mine in Kentucky.
Oh, you got yours in Kentucky.
Yeah, not Minnesota. I will say I have not had this on since 1989. It's really hot.
Okay. It's still summer here in Birmingham. So I wanted to share that with you, and I wanted to bring this beautiful woman with me. I think we've done something kind of cool here. I hope you appreciate it, and we'll continue to share our lives in retirement, what we feel is the best half of our life.
And please let us know what you think. If you disagree, disagree.
Yeah,
we can disagree right back too.
Yeah, this is a team sport, this retirement. And what do you think of our hats, huh? Kind of cool. All right. So I'll talk to you again soon.